Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Suburban Rifleman. This is the first day of Bear Camp 2024. Did a little bit of walking this morning. I just got on stand. We're doing our first drive of the day. So I have a few minutes before the drive gets started. Some of the other standers are getting in place. I described this a little bit the last time I made a video for bear camp. And Pennsylvania black bear hunting is, well, it's the only kind of bears we have in Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania black bear hunting is done in a much different manner than it is done in most of the rest of the state, or at least it's supposed to be done in a different manner. Most places in the United States and Canada, when you're hunting for black bear, you can bait them. So the general practice is to set up bait stations with tree stands over them, and that's not legal in the state of Pennsylvania. Not to say people don't bait bear here, but our camp doesn't. And the only really productive way of hunting bear in Pennsylvania is to do drives. And of course, you're not allowed to drive with dogs here. So it has to be, drives are done by people. And usually the successful camps have like 20 or 30 members, where you've got 10 to 15 people standing and 10 to 15 people driving, and they'll do a whole mountainside. Well, we have a total of 5 people at camp this year. There'll be a 6th member tomorrow, but he had to work today, so this is just difficult. We got a big piece of property here. I forget how many hundreds of acres this is. And we've basically got 4 people standing and 1 person driving. I apologize. There's probably a little bit of wind noise. I'm picking it up in my microphones here. So that's it. I've got my Marlin 336 in 35 Remington. There's very few shots on this property. I don't know if you can see how thick it is behind me here. There's very few shots on this property. I kind of have a pretty open hillside over here, but maybe my longest shot would be about 100, maybe 125 yards out here. And I can hit an 8-inch steel gong 7 out of 7 shots at 240 yards. I've demonstrated that. You can look at my video where I do that. So although the 35 Remington's not really, it has a pretty high trajectory and it's not much of a long range cartridge. It's perfectly adequate for this sort of terrain and the lengths of shots that I'll have here. And it hits hard at reasonable ranges. It's perfectly adequate for black bear or white-tailed deer, but we're specifically hunting bear now. So, and I just have a Vortex straight 1 power scope on here. This is a Vortex Crossfire. It was originally marketed as a muzzleloader optic. Some state, I don't remember who it was, I think it was somewhere out in the Midwest, mandated that you could put an optic on a muzzleloader as long as it didn't have any magnification. Now, of course, this does have a little bit of magnification. It's probably like 1.2 power or something like that. But not enough to really make a difference. But it is nice in that it puts the target in the same focal plane as the reticle. because it is a proper optical sight. It has lenses in it. You can focus it and all of that. And it's just perfect on this rifle. So that state, whichever it was that was mandating that, they decided that was a stupid rule, and they repealed it. And of course, Vortex stopped making and marketing this scope, and I think the Natchez shooter supply was blowing them out at like $60 or something, and I should have bought a half a dozen of them, because for short range rifles, they're really very nice. It's a really nice optic, and of course it comes with Vortex's no questions asked lifetime warranty and all that. So I'm glad I have one, but I wish I would have bought more. Anyway, I just got a couple of texts that the drive is ready to begin, so I will check in with you later. Well, the first two drives are over, and nobody saw a thing. Piles of coyote scat, a couple of deer tracks. Nobody saw anything alive. So this is shaping up as a typical bear camp so far. Hopefully I'll get some wildlife footage for you guys, but I didn't see a turkey. I didn't see a deer, not a coyote, not a fox. And now, although you can see some blue sky there, you can probably also see there's a little bit of rain falling down. So typical late November here in northern PA, and hopefully we'll see something. I'd like to make this an eventful video and not a completely uneventful video. Check you later. So this will be the third drive of the day. I'm right along the Mid-State Trail here in Tioga County in the northern tier of Pennsylvania. The drivers will be coming this way. Well, the driver will be coming this way. And I got this nice slope in front of me. This is so typical in this rocky environment up here. You got a spring that's come up right in the middle of the trail, and then has found its way here and is now starting a run down the hill there. Very, very typical, but so we'll see what happens. Hopefully I get a little bit of footage of some deer or a coyote or something. I don't want to get skunked completely. I'd like to make this video at least a little bit interesting. All right, so we're set up for first drive, second day. Unfortunately, this is going to be my last day. I have to go to the doctor tomorrow morning to get some sutures taken out. So if we don't get something today, it'll be another fruitless bear camp. But we'll see. We have more guys today. We have 2 more guys. So I guess we have a crew of 7 now. And we're up on state game lands today, up on top of Rattler Mountain, but there's a lot of other vehicles in here. I think there's some big crews in, so on one hand, we're not hunting by ourselves, but on the other hand, there's more guys to move the bear around, so I'll keep you posted if we see anything. Later, guys. So, this is going to be the second drive of the second day. I don't know if I can turn the camera around while I'm talking. Oh, yeah, I can. I apologize for the wind noise. You see this swamp here? We're going to be putting a drive in around the far end of the swamp, so I'm going to station myself up beyond the bog here. You can see this is really pretty wet in here, but this is a good sort of natural barrier. Critters don't generally like to go right through here because, you'll sink in. So go in and station myself up there. And we'll see how it goes. Alright. Catch you later, guys. Kind of skirting around this bog. I was told there was a trail here, but I'm not seeing it. I think I'm going to have to turn the camera off for a while. Alright, so I'm in a pretty good position now. I'm at the other end of that swamp or bog. From the angle I showed you out where I parked. And the drivers are going to be coming this way. There's more standers positioned over in here that came in off of another road. So the guys that are pushing out this way over here, anything that gets to this swamp is going to have to skirt around it and hopefully get funneled right in here. It's pretty thick. There's a lot of little beech trees in here. It's pretty thick, but this is about the best visibility I've seen since I came in. So, hopefully this works out good. I keep my fingers crossed, I'll let you know. Alright, so I found a spot. I moved another 30 or 40 yards. I found a spot with a little bit better visibility. As you can see, I'm under some big hemlock trees. I like standing under hemlocks. They kind of put you in the shade, and the large trunk has a tendency to sort of conceal your silhouette. So hopefully this will be a good spot. Drive should be starting in another 15 minutes or so, so we'll see how it goes. Later, guys. So there's been a whole flurry of shooting out in front of me. But I don't think it's any of the guys in our drive. Sounded like maybe it was a bit too far away. Not super far away, but at least 4 or 5 shots, so there at least was a bear here somewhere. We'll see. So I'm headed back in. I guess this will be the 3rd drive of the day. This is the bear killing spot. We're still on public land. We passed a lot of guys coming in here. There's a lot of vehicles out at the parking area, and there's a fair number of guys on stand, but we walked in quite a bit further than most. I haven't seen any guys that are back this far, but this is a really good spot. And as you can see, I'm in a grove of white pine trees. Sort of semi-open. There's a lot of little branches, but there's definitely shooting lanes. And this is a good spot. I've got a little creek bottom right down over here. So I'm going to move over here into this slightly more open area and see if I can get some good views. The drivers will be coming sort of from the perspective that you have. They'll be coming that way. So I'm going to find a good spot and get set up. I'll let you know how it goes. typical swampy spot. Great place to stand in the middle of a creek, but I do have a good view. So the last drive I saw 3 doe, which is 3 more animals than I've seen in the last day and a half. So drivers are going to be coming right up towards me here, so maybe I'll see something in this creek bottom. I'll let you know. Rifle shot. I'm pretty sure that was one of our boys, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. Just a single shot so far. Maybe this isn't going to be a fruitless bear camp. I'll let you know. Okay, everyone. So it's the following morning. I think last time I did a bear camp video, I did the wrap-up driving home from camp, which is what I intended to do yesterday. But we were in the woods until pretty much the end of the day. I think they did one additional drive after I bugged out, but I decided I had to go around 4 o'clock. By the time I got back to camp, got all my gear loaded in the truck, it was pretty much pitch dark driving home, so it wouldn't have been good for filming a wrap-up. But anyway, 2024 bear season was typically fruitless, at least for me. Most of the rest of the guys are going to be up there, are still hunting today. I guess I got cut out of the group texts already because I haven't gotten anything. I haven't received any of the texts asking if people were in position or whatever that we were getting yesterday. But most of the guys are still at camp today, and some will still be hunting tomorrow. Pennsylvania bear season runs from the Saturday before Thanksgiving, but now includes Sunday as well, which if you're familiar with Pennsylvania hunting, Sunday hunting's always been a big prohibition. It's a very controversial topic. Most of the guys in my camp are not in favor of Sunday hunting. I'm kind of ambiguous. I don't mind having a day off in the middle of bear camp. We used to use that. We would listen to football on the radio, and we would split firewood, and we would go out to dinner that night. It was kind of nice. Now, you kind of feel obligated to get out in the woods and hunt on Sunday, but it is what it is. But it runs from the Saturday before Thanksgiving until the Tuesday right before Thanksgiving. So it's 4 days. It's 4 frantic days of trying to get a bear, and we didn't get one once again. And I've been over this numerous times in the past when it bears repeating. We started out on Saturday with 5 guys, and yesterday we had 7 guys, and we always try to put on fairly ambitious drives. Bear can cover a lot of ground, so I don't know, it might be more fruitful to set up numerous small drives where you're just driving off like an acre or an acre and a half, 2 acres of land, whatever. Well, maybe 5 acres. But we do these big, long drives, and just the indications from what happens with deer. The drivers will jump maybe 10 deer, and the standards at the end of the drive maybe see 2, maybe see 3 deer. So that just indicates there's a lot of animals going out the sides of our drives. We put flankers on the drives if we're along a road that's legal to hunt along. Wow. The turn signals on that vehicle are almost impossible to see, at least in this lighting condition. I think it's a cop car. Anyway, blacked out Explorer. Turn signals are terrible. Anyway, yeah, we'll put flankers along the road. If we're driving parallel to a road, We'll put a flanker along the road where it's legal. You can't always shoot in a public road, but up in the state forest and the state game lands, you can shoot along the road. We'll try to put flankers, well, just the furthest in driver will be the flanker. But oftentimes where we're hunting, it's so thick, you're not going to get a long shot anyway. I've been over that a million times. So it's just difficult. Bear hunting is difficult. Even if you are a Mennonite or an Amish camp where they stack the guys in camp like cordwood and they've got 30 or 40 guys out there putting on drives, they are the ones who are the most successful. But it's an enormous amount of work with a very slim probability of payoff. So for me anyway, bear camp is more about fellowship. It's about spending time at a campfire. It's about spending time strategizing, talking about where you're going to go, what drives you're going to do the following day. I wonder if this would help at all. Is that going to filter out the sun a little bit? There we go. Yeah, it's about strategizing around the campfire. It's about playing washers and playing the nail game and playing the ring game and having a few beers and then going out and trying to get it done. But once again, we just weren't lucky. It's very hit and miss. And one of these days, we'll be able to crack open that bottle of bourbon that's been sitting up on top of the cabinets in the kitchen of the cabin and have a real celebration. I know that'll happen eventually, but you really have to just approach bear camp as being a fun social exercise, and getting out in the woods with a gun. There's a lot of worse things you can do. Yesterday, I don't think I showed it on camera much, but it poured rain in the afternoon and was quite cold and miserable towards the end of the day. But a cold, miserable day in the woods with your gun is better than the nicest day at work. So, mission accomplished. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I don't think I got any footage of wildlife. I did see 3 doe yesterday. If I caught them on camera, which I may or may not have, you will have already seen that. So I was hoping to splice in some footage of grouse or turkeys or deer or maybe a fox or a coyote or a bobcat, anything, especially a bear. But that just didn't happen this year. So if you're thinking about bear hunting in Pennsylvania, realize that it's a lot of work. It can be immensely rewarding, but in the something like 25 years I've been going to bear camp, we have seen a few bear. I think we had 1 shot at a bear and a miss, and that's it. So one of these days we'll get there, and when we do, I hope I get it on video, and I hope each of you are here then. Later, guys.